You do not have to drain your savings to find a comfortable, safe vehicle. Many dealers will force you to part with your hard-earned cash, but you simply have to watch this so you ring very scammed. Today, we are exposing 5 forgotten, cheap cars engineered for seniors. These low-maintenance machines offer large windows, plush seats, simple physical knobs, and cast-iron bones to cross 500,000 miles. The vehicle at number 1 is a legendary masterpiece. Let us find your car today. Let's begin. Number 5. The 2003 to 2011 Mercury Grand Marquis. When you want a vehicle that isolates you from the reality of broken city pavement, you need traditional American engineering. The Mercury Grand Marquis is the highway cruiser. It sits on the Ford Panther platform. This is the underlying chassis used by police departments and taxi fleets for decades. Ford engineers designed this platform to survive grueling abuse in the worst environments. Because it was designed for commercial fleet use, the mechanical components are overbuilt and suited for a peaceful retirement vehicle. Under the long, flat hood sits the proven 4.6-liter modular V8 engine. This engine block is cast iron with aluminum cylinder heads. It utilizes a simple single overhead camshaft design and a steel timing chain. It does not produce massive amounts of horsepower, but it produces smooth torque because the engine operates at low revolutions per minute during highway cruising. The internal bearings and piston rings experience almost no friction or stress. This allows the engine block to cross 400,000 miles with basic conventional oil changes. The Grand Marquis is brilliant for older drivers because the interior ergonomics are flawless. The front seat is a plush bench that feels like your favorite living room sofa. It is wide, allowing you to adjust your seating position on long drives to prevent lower back stiffness. The windows are vertical and large, creating a greenhouse effect that eliminates blind spots. You can see all 4 corners of the vehicle when parking. A retired factory worker named Thomas purchased a 2006 Grand Marquis for cross-country road trips. He loaded the cavernous trunk with luggage and golf clubs. He drove from Ohio to Florida every winter, floating over highway expansion joints thanks to the soft suspension tuning. He reached 320,000 miles, and the V8 engine consumed no oil. Despite the proven fleet engineering, you need to inspect 3 distinct failure points before purchasing. First, the plastic intake manifold crossover tube cracks. Ford utilized a composite plastic intake manifold to save weight. The section that channels hot engine coolant behind the alternator degrades after thousands of thermal heat cycles. The plastic develops hairline cracks and dumps sweet-smelling engine coolant directly into the spark plug wells. This causes an engine misfire. You need to open the hood and inspect the front of the engine block. If you see an aluminum crossover tube, a previous owner fixed the flaw. If the tube is black plastic, it is a ticking time bomb. Second, the rear air suspension system fails. Mercury equipped many of these cars with rear air springs to maintain a level ride height when the trunk was loaded. The rubber air bladders dry rot over time and develop microscopic holes. The air compressor runs constantly to keep the car lifted until the compressor motor burns out. If you walk up to the car and the rear bumper is sagging over the rear tires, the system is dead. Many owners bypass this repair by installing standard steel coil springs, which solves the problem. Third, the electronic blend door actuator fails behind the dashboard. This small electric motor controls the flow of hot and cold air into the cabin. The internal plastic gears snap. When this happens, you will hear a clicking noise from behind the glove box, and the climate control will refuse to switch from cold air to hot air. Replacing this motor requires disassembling portions of the dashboard, making it a frustrating labor expense. You can find these comfortable cruisers for $3,000 to $6,000. If you appreciate traditional V8 engines and honest mechanics, hit the subscribe button right now. We post videos every week exposing the truth about the used car market so you can protect your pension. A large American sedan is fantastic for open highways, but it can be difficult to park in a crowded city. What if you want the reliability of a Toyota Corolla, but you refuse to pay the Toyota tax? Our next vehicle involves a corporate partnership that created the ultimate budget hatchback. Number 4, the 2009 to 2010 Pontiac Vibe. General Motors and Toyota once entered into a rare manufacturing partnership. They built a factory together in California to share assembly costs. General Motors wanted a reliable compact car to sell under the Pontiac brand, and Toyota wanted to expand their manufacturing footprint. The result was the Pontiac Vibe. Underneath the American Pontiac body panels and the red dashboard lights, this vehicle is mechanically identical to the Toyota Matrix. You are buying Japanese engineering at a domestic discount because the average car buyer has no idea this partnership existed. You need to target the second generation, focusing only on the 2009 and 2010 model years equipped with the 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine. You need to avoid the larger 2.4-liter engine option because that motor suffers from defective piston rings that consume oil between oil changes. The smaller 1.8-liter engine is a mechanical masterpiece. It uses a steel timing chain, simple port fuel injection, and basic dual overhead cam camshafts. It pairs with a traditional 4-speed automatic transmission that refuses to brake. The Pontiac Vibe is a utility vehicle for active seniors. It features a hatchback design with a flat plastic cargo floor. You can slide bags of mulch, gardening tools, or a pet crate into the back without ruining any carpet. Furthermore, the step-in height is perfection. Automotive engineers call this the hip point. The seats sit higher than a traditional compact sedan, meaning you do not have to fall into the seat or pull yourself up to get out. You slide sideways into the cabin, which is a relief for anyone dealing with knee replacement surgery or arthritis. A retired librarian named Margaret bought a 2009 Pontiac Vibe to run daily errands and transport her rescue dogs. She loved the plastic rear cargo area because she could wipe away mud and dirt with a wet towel. She navigated crowded supermarket parking lots with ease due to the short wheelbase and tight turning radius. She changed the transmission fluid every 50,000 miles and pushed the little hatchback past 280,000 miles. Her mechanic praised the car because replacement parts were cheap Toyota components available at any auto parts store. While the underlying engineering is solid, you need to check 3 areas during your test drive. First, the factory clear coat paint peels. General Motors used a subpar painting process on the exterior body panels. The clear coat delaminates on the roof and the hood when exposed to ultraviolet sunlight. The paint will look cloudy and flake off in white chunks. This does not affect the mechanical reliability, but it looks terrible. Try to find a model that was parked inside a garage. Second, the front timing cover develops a slow oil weep. The rubber sealant used between the aluminum timing cover and the engine block degrades slightly over a decade of use. Take a flashlight and look down the passenger side of the engine block near the serpentine belt. If you see a light coating of dusty oil sludge, the timing cover is seeping. This is rarely a severe leak. Most owners monitor the oil dipstick and add a quarter of a quart every few months rather than paying for the reseal job. Third, the vehicle was involved in the Takata airbag recall. The chemical propellant inside the steering wheel airbag inflator becomes unstable due to age and humidity. If the airbag deploys during a minor accident, the metal housing shatters, sending sharp shrapnel into the cabin. Before you buy the vehicle, you need to type the vehicle identification number into the National Recall database to verify the local dealership replaced the defective airbag mechanism for free. You can secure these hatchbacks for $4,000 to $7,000. A practical hatchback is great for errands, but sometimes you want to transport your friends in quiet, refined comfort without looking like you're driving an economy car. Our next vehicle is the sleeper sedan on the market. It offers the space of a limousine with the running costs of a commuter car. Number 3, the 2005 to 2012 Toyota Avalon. Toyota built its reputation on the Camry and the Corolla. Because those two models dominate the sales charts, buyers forget about the flagship Toyota Avalon. This is a mistake. The third-generation Toyota Avalon is the senior-friendly luxury cruiser. Toyota stretched the wheelbase of the Camry platform to create a cabin that prioritizes passenger comfort. The depreciation on these sedans is steep, meaning you can buy top-tier Japanese luxury for the price of a used economy car. The core of this quiet cruiser is the legendary 3.5-liter 2 GRF EV6 engine. This engine produces 268 horsepower, providing effortless silent acceleration when merging onto highways. It utilizes variable valve timing to optimize fuel efficiency, allowing this sedan to achieve 30 miles per gallon during highway stretches. The engine block is cast aluminum, and the internal components are balanced. It pairs with a smooth shifting automatic transmission that moves through the hot gears without hesitation. The interior of the Avalon is a masterclass in senior ergonomics. The dashboard features large, cleanly laid out buttons for the climate control and the premium JBL audio system. There are no distracting touchscreens to navigate. The rear seat is the selling point. Because the vehicle uses a front-wheel drive architecture, the floor in the back seat is flat. There is no transmission tunnel hump in the middle. The rear seats recline backward, allowing adult passengers to sleep on long journeys. The doors open wide, making entry and exit a breeze for passengers with limited mobility. A retired couple named Robert and Helen bought a 2008 Toyota Avalon, limited to visit their grandchildren across multiple states. They utilized the heated and ventilated front leather seats to stay comfortable through changing climates. The cabin featured thick acoustic glass and heavy sound-deadening materials placed inside the doors and the floor pan. It rode quieter than their previous German luxury car. They cruised comfortably at highway speeds, isolated from wind and road noise. They followed the maintenance schedule and drove the sedan past 350,000 miles. The V6 engine remained so quiet at stoplights they occasionally forgot it was running. Despite its legendary status, you need to be aware of 3 failure points before purchasing. First, the variable valve timing external external oil line bursts. Toyota originally used a rubber hose to supply high-pressure engine oil to the variable valve timing system. This rubber hose degrades from engine heat. If it ruptures while you are driving, the engine pumps its oil onto the pavement, destroying the internal bearings. Toyota issued a technical service bulletin to replace this rubber hose with a solid metal line. You need to inspect the passenger side of the engine block near the front cylinder head to ensure the solid metal replacement line is installed. Second, the steering rack leaks power steering fluid. The internal seals on the steering rack fail over time. You need to crawl under the front bumper and look at the accordion-style rubber boots on the steering tie rods. If the rubber boots are wet with red fluid, the steering rack is leaking. You will hear a whining noise when you turn the steering wheel at low speeds. Replacing the steering rack is a high labor expense because the mechanic needs to lower the front suspension subframe. Third, the dashboard material cracks and turns sticky. Similar to other Japanese brands during this era, Toyota used an eco-friendly synthetic material for the upper dashboard. When exposed to ultraviolet sunlight, the material breaks down. It develops spiderweb cracks across the passenger side and becomes sticky to the touch. It creates a glare on the windshield. Try to find an Avalon that was stored inside a garage or protected by a sunshade. You can find these luxury cruisers for $6,000 to $10,000. If you found these vehicle breakdowns helpful, leave a comment down below, telling us which car you want to park in your driveway. Do not forget to like the video so we can reach more buyers who need honest advice. A traditional sedan is comfortable, but the low ground clearance makes it difficult to see over modern traffic. What if you want the reliability of a Honda Accord, but you want the elevated ride height of a sport utility vehicle without the heavy handling? Our runner-up breaks every rule in the automotive industry. Number 2, the 2010 to 2015 Honda Accord Cross Tour. The automotive market loves to force vehicles into strict categories. You either buy a low sedan or a tall sport utility vehicle. Honda decided to ignore the rules and built a mutant vehicle called the Accord Cross Tour. Traditional car critics mocked the exterior styling because of the sloped rear hatchback and the elevated stance. Because it looked different, it sat unsold on dealership lots. Today, that lack of popularity makes it one of the greatest used car bargains in existence for an older demographic. The Cross Tour is a Honda Accord that was lifted into the air and given a rear cargo area. It provides the driving dynamics of a family car, but provides the high visibility and easy step-in height of a crossover. You need to target the models equipped with the 3.5-liter J35 V6 engine. This is the gold standard for Honda reliability. It produces 271 horsepower and features a durable cast aluminum block. Honda offered an optional real-time all-wheel drive system on the V6 models. This system remains in front-wheel drive to save gas, but sends power to the rear wheels the second it detects slippery snow or heavy rain. The ergonomics are brilliant for active retirees. The ride height means you slide onto the wide leather seats. You do not climb up and you do not fall down. The rear hatchback design hides a secret. Lift the carpeted cargo floor and you will find a hidden, removable waterproof bin. You can place muddy hiking boots, wet garden supplies, or bags of ice inside this bin without ruining the interior of the car. If it gets dirty, you lift the plastic bin out and wash it with a garden hose. The heavy doors close with a solid thud, and the suspension absorbs potholes that would destroy a standard Accord. A retired architect named William bought a 2012 Cross Tour to transport his surveying equipment and architectural models. He enjoyed the commanding view of the road, which allowed him to see past smaller cars and heavy traffic. He lived in a rural area with poorly maintained dirt roads. The elevated ground clearance allowed him to navigate ruts without scraping the undercarriage. He drove the vehicle daily, logging 310,000 miles on the engine block. The 5-speed automatic transmission shifted flawlessly throughout his ownership. While the vehicle is an engineering marvel, you need to check 3 major mechanical areas. First, the variable cylinder management system causes oil consumption. Honda programmed the engine computer to shut down 3 cylinders during highway cruising to save fuel. This constant switching causes the piston rings to rotate and align improperly, allowing oil to slip past the rings and burn inside the combustion chamber. The burned oil damages the spark plugs and the catalytic converters. You need to buy an aftermarket device called a VCM muzzler. It plugs into the coolant temperature sensor and tricks the computer into keeping all 6 cylinders firing at all times. This solves the oil burning issue. Second, you need to verify the timing belt history. The Honda V6 is an interference engine. It uses a rubber timing belt to keep the internal metal valves synchronized with the pistons. This belt must be replaced every 90,000 miles, along with the water pump and the hydraulic belt tensioner. If the rubber belt snaps while you are driving, the pistons will smash into the open valves, destroying the engine block. You need to open the hood and look for a maintenance sticker on the plastic timing cover that proves the belt was replaced. Third, the power steering pump develops a fluid leak. The internal rubber O-ring seal on the power steering pump inlet hose hardens and shrinks due to engine bay heat. This allows air to suck into the power steering system, causing a groaning whine every time you turn the steering wheel. Eventually, steering fluid drips down the passenger side of the engine block onto the expensive alternator. Rebuilding the pump with a new internal seal is a simple fix. You can secure these versatile vehicles for $7,000 $10,000 to $13,000. A lifted wagon offers utility, but it still feels like a mainstream consumer vehicle. What happens when a Japanese automaker gives their engineering department a blank check to build the greatest luxury car the world has ever seen? We have reached the pinnacle of automotive reliability. Number 1. The 2001 to 2006 Lexus LS 430. We have reached the peak of reliable luxury. When Toyota decided to compete with the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and the BMW 7 Series, they did not cut corners. They poured over $1 billion into research and development to create the Lexus LS 430. They obsessed over every detail. They tuned the engine sound to match the frequency of a rushing waterfall to calm the driver. They engineered the door latches to sound like a bank vault closing. It is arguably the most over-engineered production car in human history, and it is the reward for a lifetime of hard work. The heart of this masterpiece is the 3UZFE 4.3-liter V8 engine. Automotive historians consider this to be the smoothest V8 engine ever assembled. The manufacturing tolerances were so tight that engineers balanced the internal crankshaft components by hand. You can place a glass of water on the intake manifold while the engine is idling, and the water will not ripple. It produces 290 horsepower in silence. It pairs with a heavy-duty automatic transmission that shifts so smoothly you only know it changed gears by watching the tachometer needle drop. The interior is a sanctuary designed to reduce driver fatigue. The seats are wrapped in semi-aniline leather that feels softer than premium furniture. The cabin is lined with real walnut wood trim sourced from the same piano manufacturers that supply concert halls. The climate control system uses oscillating vents to distribute air evenly across the cabin, mimicking a natural outdoor breeze. If you find the ultra-luxury trim package, the rear seats feature built-in massage functions and a dedicated cooler box for cold drinks. It isolates you from the stress of the outside world. A retired corporate executive named Richard bought a 2004 Lexus LS 430. He refused to buy a new car because modern luxury vehicles rode harshly on their massive wheels and thin tires. He enjoyed the thick sidewalls and the tuned independent suspension. He drove the car on a cross-country tour, enjoying the Mark Levinson audio system. He crossed 400,000 miles. The engine never required an internal repair, and the original leather seats showed barely any signs of wear. The paint remained glossy because Lexus applied multiple layers of clear coat at the factory. Despite its status as an immortal machine, you need to inspect 3 complex systems before buying. First, the Mark Levinson audio amplifier fails. The premium sound system relies on a massive amplifier located in the trunk. Moisture and age cause the internal circuit board to short out. When the amplifier dies, you lose all audio in the cabin. The radio will turn on, but no sound will come from the speakers. Buying a brand new amplifier from the dealership costs thousands of dollars. You need to find an electronics repair shop that can resolder the factory circuit board for a fraction of the cost. Second, the steering column tilt and telescoping motors strip out. The steering wheel automatically moves up and away when you turn the key off to help you exit the vehicle. Over thousands of cycles, the plastic gears inside the electric steering column motors strip. The steering wheel will become stuck in an awkward position, and you will hear a grinding noise when you insert the key. You can disable the auto tilt feature using a diagnostic computer to save the remaining life of the gears. Third, the timing belt requires strict maintenance. Just like the Honda V6, this Lexus V8 is an interference engine that relies on a rubber timing belt. You must replace the belt, the water pump, and the idler pulleys every 90,000 miles. Because the engine bay is packed tightly with luxury components, the labor cost for this maintenance job is high. You must factor this cost into your purchase price if the seller cannot provide maintenance records. You can purchase the greatest luxury car ever built for $7,000 to $14,000. If this video helped you, let us know which car you want to park in your driveway in the comments below. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. There is another video popping up on your screen right now exposing cars that will drain your bank account. Click the next video and we will see you over there.